Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your Mercury retrograde reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be linked and listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, just a reminder not to respond to anybody who is soliciting you in the comment box below, pretending to be me. They're not me. I am not open to public readings, so if a person says, "Hey, I'm Dane, do you want a reading?" report them, ignore them, and let me know. I'm trying to keep up on everything, but do let me know. Okay. So with that said, now Cancer, let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. And let's see what your chakra energy is for this time. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me, clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Angels and spirit guides. Awesome. These four. We have here Soul's Healing, which is the Soul Star Chakra located 6 inches above our crown. We have Truth, the throat chakra. And of course, with Mercury retrograde, this is a time when we can feel like our throat chakra is working against us, where communication is working against us. And there's going to be great power in sticking to your truth, of sticking to what it is that you feel, believe, and understand to be right at that moment. It doesn't mean you don't change your mind at times, because of course you can, but really speaking your truth is going to be very powerful for you during Mercury retrograde. We have Rebirth, which is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below your feet. And then we have Balance, which is the root chakra. Oh, goodness. There we go. Now the left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what they have to say. We have the 4 of air. We have the Lovers, so strong Gemini energy here. Time frame May 21st to June 20th. If you're born on the cusp with Gemini, it's going to come through very strongly. And this can add some intensity to Mercury retrograde, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Then we have the 9 of water, the 9 of cups, the King of fire, the King of wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So passion and determination really coming forward. You have the 4 of air. You have the repeat of the number 4 crowning you. So this is a time where you really need to check into yourself, like tune into what it is that you want, what it is that's grounding you, seeing your body as a temple, also seeing where you live as a sacred space. You have the Page of Earth, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The 3 of Earth, the 3 of Pentacles. The Knight of Water, so you're coming through, you are a water sign, Cancer, and you're coming through as a knight, as a defender. We have the 7 of Earth, the 7 of Pentacles, the 10 of Air, the 10 of Swords, the Page of Water. In the public arena, you are also a student, and the 4 of Water, the 4 of Cups. So now you have the repeat of the number 4 3 times. So this is divinity really saying you need to focus on you during this time. You're going to be really driven, Cancer, to look outside, to find the meaning outside of yourself, to find the harmony outside of you. That's going to be actually one of the worst things that you can do during this Mercury retrograde, because this is a time where things get confusing, words get jumbled. If you follow your truth, if you stay in tune with yourself, if you step back and say, what is my heart? What is it that I desire? What is it that I'm fighting for? And what I'm learning to really embrace and be empowered by during this time? How is that, not even during this time, for my life, in my truth, how is that leading me forward? If you kind of come back to you every single time, here, Cancer, you're going to find that moves you forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated, in a way that makes you so much stronger, so much bolder, so much more than you had thought you would be. So that becomes very powerful. Now, do note during this time, Mercury retrograde begins on the 30th of January, but we come into pre-retrograde on the 15th of January. So if you're really sensitive to Mercury retrograde, the planets, the stars, everything like that, like I am, and like many people are, you can start to feel the effects of this Mercury retrograde. Now, you're stepping into it, it becomes overwhelming. It can become a time where you're looking at things and conversations are going astray, words are getting mumbled, there's an underlying meaning to everything. You almost feel like there's a joke being played on you. Like you thought things were moving one way, they start moving another way. And it feels like a joke. It feels like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have read that wrong, or I couldn't have misinterpreted it so completely. And so here, there comes a time where you start to internalize it. You're like, oh, wow, I'm just making a whole bunch of mistakes. And it leads you to being very sensitive, Cancer, and saying, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to move forward? Where is it that I'm supposed to be? What is it that I truly want? And you're going to see that if you step back and you say, instead of, what have I done wrong? It's like, what have I done right? If you look at yourself and you embrace the healing that's coming down around you, you embrace the power that is a part of you, you start to see that there is more out here than you realized. And it leads you to the energy that you need to be mindful of. So let's see here. What is the energy that Cancer needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that Cancer needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So usually these are the people that we need to be mindful of during this time period. But Spirit is saying it goes beyond people. It's not going to be just relegated or segregated to one group of people. It's like all fire sign energies, or, beware of Virgos or something like that. It's going to be the energy that they bring forward during this time. So we have the King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is the King. And you have the King as a very powerful, motivational aspect of you during this time in the private arena within yourself. There's this power. There's this determination. You aren't going, excuse me. You aren't going to appreciate, and I mean, who does? But you aren't going to appreciate being bullied. You aren't going to appreciate people sitting there and saying, this is the way that you need to do things. Also, these are people who believe that if I can talk over you, if I can get angrier than you can, if I can be louder than you are, like might equals right. And this is just going to be something that, first of all, knocks you off your game. You're already feeling rather sensitive, rather really in touch with your emotions, but also with the chaos of the world and the chaos that we've come out of in 2020, the chaos that we're kind of in the beginning of 2021. And it's like, enough is enough. You're kind of stretched a little bit too thin. And the Mercury retrograde that we're facing here makes you start to doubt your words, makes you start to doubt the way that you're perceiving things, and this person will take advantage of it. And it doesn't have to be a fire sign energy. It could be anyone who just believes that they can bully their way forward and just believes that because I'm louder than you, because I'm going to be quote unquote more extrovert than you are, that makes me right and that makes you wrong. And that couldn't be further from the truth during this time. And then we have Taurus energy. We have the Hierophant here, April 20th to May 20th. This is a person who is going to be kind of like a bull in a china shop. They want what they want when they want it. They break things. They, can sit there and get too stubborn, too fixated on something. And you're going to kind of just need to step back from this energy, from the stubborn determination, and sit there and say, where is the balance for me? What is it that I desire? It's kind of like you're planting yourself into the ground and saying, how can I grow in harmony, in understanding, in my truth? And then it leads you to the Strength card. Now, this is Leo energy, July 23rd to August 22nd. But this is, again, somebody who very much embodies the fact that might equals right. An underdeveloped Leo, or somebody embracing this energy, is going to think, I can just plow forward. You will listen to me because I said so. I'm your boss. I'm your this. I'm your that. I have the power here. And they don't. They don't have the power. You might have to listen to them for one reason or the other, but they don't have real power, because real power is based off of mutual respect, of caring, of comprehension, of understanding. And there is a sense here of the energy that you need to be mindful of during this time is the energy of demanding control, and not seeing that the way to really have people in your corner is to have them respect you, to have them, love you in one way or another. It doesn't have to be real, like, true romantic love, but it's a sense of feeling a camaraderie with you. And these are people who break that camaraderie, who break that peace. You're moving forward with the soul star chakra, with this need for healing, with this need for a sense of harmony to come forward. And it's coming down over you. It's like washing over you. And when you're out of harmony with yourself, when you're out of harmony with the energy that's coming forward, you're going to feel so very overwhelmed, and you're going to feel like you made a terrible mistake or like you did something wrong. All of a sudden, it really brings forward anxiety. It can bring forward a sense of, a bit of depression, a bit of doubt, really just the sense of, oh my gosh, I can't do it, right? And so here, with the soul's healing, it's like always move forward where you feel this light shining forward, or, step back into yourself after you've done something that makes you feel like I can't move forward the way that I want to, or I've lost my center, is what it feels like. And so here, the soul's healing is going to be that sense of healing, that sense of compassion, that sense of coming together is going to be so important for you to open up the door. And there's a sense of truth here with the throat chakra. In a time with Okay, so with Mercury retrograde, we all know that this is a time where communication can be topsy-turvy. But this is also a time, as the astrologer Erin Sullivan says, that she discovered that this time, okay, with Mercury in retrograde, the time that Mercury spends in retrograde and the time that Mercury spends direct is equal, and retrograde is when it spins backwards, direct is when it spins forwards, is the time equal to the humans spend awake and asleep. So this time is a time to take stock of what our subconscious is telling us. Because when we're in retrograde, it's the time that we're kind of like asleep, right? And so when we're looking at this, it's what our subconscious is telling us by having us face adversities, challenges, doubts, fears. And so here with our truth, it's speaking our truth so that as we confront what our subconscious wants us to see, wants us to understand, we can confront what we need in order to learn, in order to come out of Mercury retrograde, not more frustrated than we went in, but with the sense of, I have greater insight to where I need to be, to what I want, to what I'm discovering, to who it is that I am. And that's following the truth of the words that you're speaking, the truth of the power that is around you, and it leads you to this powerful sense of rebirth, this powerful sense of coming together. This is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. This is a sense of being reborn. This is a sense of looking at what you're planting yourself in. Think of yourself as a plant, okay? Think of yourself as a tree. And think of yourself as either being planted in beautiful, rich, prosperous, lovely soil, or being planted in soil that has no nutrients. And which one are you going to be able to grow in? It's going to be the nutrient-rich soil. So if you're looking at things and you're saying, well, Dane, where I'm planted in right now, I feel like I can't grow. It's time to start feeding that soil. It's time to start feeding yourself, because you're going to start seeing that you're reborn. And it's feeding yourself by being mindful of the words that you're speaking, of being mindful of the energy that you're letting around you, being mindful of the healing that's being called forward. And yet, in the way that this could be denied because you're sitting there trying to be everything to everybody else and not taking in that healing for you, not taking in that power for you. Once you start to do this, you start to see yourself being reborn. You start to see yourself opening up the doors. And it brings forward the balance of the root chakra, of the rooted self, that is planted, of what it is that you need, want, and desire in your life, in your soul, in what it is that you're creating. And so here, there is a sense of opening up this truth, of saying, this is the sacred part of me, the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine. This is the sacred part of me that is coming forward, that is coming together. This is the power and this is the power and the calm. This is the force, and this is also the nurturing. And this is the sense of me embracing these different aspects of myself at different moments during the day, of different times as I move forward, and seeing this balance guide me, and seeing this sense of truth and understanding be such an integral part of me. And it moves you here to the 4 of air. The 4 of air is rest. The 4 of air is looking at the 4 of swords, is looking at everything that you have been through, every hardship, every pain, every disappointment. And instead of saying, wow, my life stinks, or I'm always tested in a way that nobody else is, or why is everything harder for me than it is for everybody else, and internalizing it and feeling bad about it. It's sitting there and looking at things and saying, yes, I've been tested. Yes, things are harder for me than they are for others. They might be. Or it could be that you're just more vocal about things. You could sit there and say, but I'm not settling. This isn't right. I'm just not going to take it on the chin and keep on moving forward. I'm going to change it. I'm moving forward with it. And so as you look back over your life and you look at all the battles that you have fought, all the time and the effort and the work that you've put in. And instead of saying, wow, it has been one battle after another and it wasn't even worth it, you look at how you've been forged, because life is about being forged. It's about being that sword put into the fire, and it's about being hammering out all the imperfections so that when you reach battles, when you reach times of real adversity and trials and tribulations in your life, you don't shatter. And that's what you're doing here. You're seeing this power. You're seeing this purpose. You're seeing this, determination of self. And you're looking back and you're honoring every single aspect of your life, every single moment of your existence, whether it be the really beautiful moments where everything goes right, or whether it be the moments where you were really tested, where you were pushed to your limits. And that brings you to the lovers. That brings you to the angels watching over you, to this love guiding you, to you falling in love with your life again. It could be falling in love with others during Mercury retrograde, which can be a bit intense, but it's having the love that you have in your relationships. It doesn't mean the romantic love that we love to think about when we see the lovers card. It's like, oh my gosh, just true love, everything becomes happy and blissful. It's looking at the beauty, the power, the prosperity that you need to move you forward. It's looking at what you love for your life. It's looking at the words that are used, the power that moves you forward. Now, because this is so strongly linked with Mercury, you can be finding that things that you love are being tested because the subconscious you, okay, is testing the conscious you during Mercury retrograde. And you are seeing that divinity is throwing things at you that you're like, wow, how do I even fight this? Like, how do I even work with this? Like, how do I even move forward? And so here, there comes a time where you start to look at things and you start to say, okay, I need to step back. I can't handle everything. I can't smooth over everything, which is what you like to do, Cancer. And so as you step back and you say, what can I handle now? What is the one thing that I can focus on? What is the one thing that I really want out of this Mercury retrograde? And you can kind of, sit there and make a goal for yourself from the 30th to the 21st. I want to be happy. I want to be in love with my life. And these seem like kind of abstract things. But if you sit there and say, what makes me happy? And it's not sitting there and saying, well, work doesn't make me happy, so I'm not going to do it. It's sitting there and saying, I have to uphold my responsibilities. I have to be a functioning member of society, right? So with doing that, what brings me joy? Having a smile on my face, sitting there and humming a song that I really like while I'm working, while I'm, hunkering down, while I'm going after what it is that I want, brings a level of joy to me, because you're going to find that words are very important. And the words that you tell yourself, the words that you surround yourself with, the way that you're moving forward during this time is through words and your interpretation of those words. So if you surround yourself with words that empower, with words that embolden, if you surround yourself with singing the song that brings a smile to your face, with, reciting something that brings strength into you, even if it's just a prayer throughout the day, you find yourself opening up the doors to what you love. You find yourself opening up the doors to greatness. And you find that the topsy-turvy world that we are in during Mercury retrograde, it isn't as bad as you expect. Now, this is also because Mercury retrograde is in Aquarius, and Mercury retrograde kind of likes Aquarius. It feels very at home there. It feels very balanced. It balances things out. And so during this time, you might feel this Mercury retrograde isn't going to be quite as intense as, let's say, the next Mercury retrograde that comes, that's in Gemini, because that becomes really intense. This is kind of like a training ground for it. This is a springboard to something that's more intense and more, calling you forward. But it's not something to be worried about. This is a time where you look at the Nine of Waters, the Nine of Cups, and there's a sense here of seeing the wishes come true, of seeing what you love, what you desire, because you're surrounding yourself with it during this retrograde, during this time where things get topsy-turvy and people can misinterpret things. You're surrounding yourself with what you love, with what you want, with what you wish for, and it becomes very easy for people to see that there's something different about you during this time. Now, is it going to be easy for you to see it yourself? No, it's not. It's going to be something that eludes you. It's going to be something that makes you think, oh my gosh, I just am not where I need to be. And again, that could not be further from the truth. You are exactly where you need to be. Even in the hardships, even in the pains, even in the disappointments, you're exactly where you need to be. You're deciding exactly what is important to you and what isn't. And you're moving forward in this truth, whether you're conscious of it or not. And so here you have this beauty, you have these wishes coming forward, you have divinity walking with you, you have power coming to you that you hadn't expected, and it leads you to the King of Fire. And here it says motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. And that's what you're rooted in. You're rooted in motivation. You're rooted in the idealism of what it is that you want, in your ambition, and also in your charisma of personality, your way of bringing people together, your way of charging forward, of kind of like breaking down things that have held you back. And you see yourself moving forward in a powerful and brilliant truth. You see yourself sitting there and saying, I'm defending what lights my fire. I'm defending what gives me the reason for getting out of bed in the morning. And it's becoming my grounding point during a time where I can feel easily confused and overwhelmed. But if I sit there and I look at my truth, and you don't let everybody come in and tell you what your truth should be, because it's going to be very easy for that to happen. It's going to be very easy for, as you're moving forward, to sit there and say, well, the road hasn't been as smooth as it has been, as I perceive it to have been for everybody else. So obviously I'm doing something wrong. And Spirit is saying here, no, you're not. Spirit is saying that if you keep yourself motivated, if you keep saying and taking it step by step by step in this Mercury retrograde, you find that you shatter a lot of the walls set before you. You shatter a lot of the hardships, the pains, the disappointments that overwhelm you. And it moves you to the 4 of fire. It moves you in your heart to what it is that you truly enjoy, you truly love, you truly want, and you truly need. It moves you to an opening up of your mind, your soul, and yourself. The 4 of Wands is celebration. It's happiness. It's new opportunities coming your way that can lead to astoundingly brilliant new experiences coming forward. It's a sense of not being held back by fear or doubt or anger or chaos. And it's looking at things and saying, how is it that I want to move forward in my life? And it's not forgetting to dance. It's not forgetting to laugh. It's not forgetting to celebrate, to sit there and bless your days, to bless your heart, to ask your spirit guides, what do you want of me? What is the message that I'm supposed to learn from this day? Because if you take a Mercury retrograde time and you break it down day by day to the lesson that you're supposed to learn, to the way that you want to move forward, and the message that your spirit guides, your angels, have for you, it becomes a time where you can feel more empowered and you can feel like you're taking the reins, because that's so important for you, Cancer, to take the reins when it feels like other people are kind of moving your chariot forward, because you're represented by the chariot in the major arcana. And so here, as you take the reins of what it is that you want, if you sit there and you have this conversation, think about your spirit guide. If your spirit guide doesn't already have a name, name it. Think of the first name that kind of pops in your head while you're thinking about the guide that leads you forward. Mine is Imani. And if you go to sleep at night and you just think, Imani, or whatever your spirit guide's name is, please, give me an answer to a question that I have. Show me what I need to know as I move forward, as I go after what it is that I want. And you're going to find that maybe you start remembering your dreams when you don't, or you wake up with this sense of, oh, well, that's weird that I'm thinking about this, as you're in the shower getting ready or brushing your teeth, and you're like, oh, wow, this is powerful. Like, this is an answer. It all of a sudden starts to become an answer, and it starts to become a foundation for what you're building off of during this time. And it leads you to being a student of your prosperity, of the earth, of what it is that you desire. This says scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. So as you start to get these messages coming forward, you start to embrace a more kind of scholarly approach to things. But the scholarly approach cannot be that it takes out the emotion, only the facts. That's going to be very bad for you. You need to move forward in emotional truth as well as in truth. So here, as in written truth. So here, with the Page of Earth coming forward, you are embracing what it is that you love, and you're becoming a student of your prosperity, of what it is that you desire, of the questions that you have, and the ways that you want to move forward. And you start to see things open up in a way that you hadn't expected. You start to see yourself open up to new ideas, to new power, in a way that you didn't think. And this light starts to shine down on you. It starts to change the way that you see things. It starts to change the way that you move forward in things. Other people are going to want to claim the responsibility of your successes during this time, because you are a student, you are a quester. They're going to want to kind of stand over you and say, well, I'm the one who taught you all of this, or I'm the one who did this. And it's like, no, if I wasn't questing for it, if I wasn't moving forward in this way, it never would have come to me. So this becomes a time here where you start to see the light of what you've been creating. You start to see the truth of what it is that you desire. You start to see what it is that you've been making within your world. And it leads you to being the knight of you, to leads you to being the defender of you. This is emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. So as you move forward, you start to embrace, like, what is it that I'm fighting for? What is the ideal that I want within my world? What is my perfect happily ever after? How does that work for me? How does that lead me? What does that guide me to? Where does that want me to be? And it might seem like you're being too romantic in what you're envisioning for yourself, but it's kind of like dream big. Because even if you dream big and you're thinking this way, divinity will, and your spirit guides, are going to be so intertwined with your life that they start to give you something that, yes, you hadn't thought of it like that, but it starts to open up the world for you in a way that you hadn't thought, in a way that you hadn't anticipated, in something that you hadn't realized before. And as you open up this way, and as you move forward this way, it's like, oh wow, this is where I stand. This is what I see. This is what I want, and this is what's guiding me. And it's like you're learning how to fall in love with life again. You're learning how to embrace your truth, your power, and your enthusiasm. And there's a sense here, and I know with the world being closed down the way that it is, but there's a sense here of, things happening, like events happening, things happening around you that make you feel as if your heart is being pulled in a very profound and very brilliant direction. And it's something that you've ignored for too long. And then it leads you to the Seven of Earth. It leads you to the sense of patience. It leads you to the sense of, the seeds being planted and things being prepared. And you're going to want to rush it. You definitely are going to want to rush it during this time. You're going to want to push things forward, to go after what it is that you need, to sit there and say, well, I want this now, and I don't really want to wait for it. And so what's happening here is that divinity is saying, no, wait. And you're actually going to get messages from your spirit guides, especially as you connect with them more and more. It's like, be patient. What it is that's coming your way is greater than you expected, is deeper than you expected, is more than you could possibly know. And you're going to see yourself moving forward now towards a powerful truth, towards a powerful understanding, towards a powerful sense of self. And in the public arena, you're going to have people want to push you, especially using guilt. Okay, especially using your guilt against you, especially using, a fact of, well, don't you deserve this? Haven't you suffered enough? Haven't things been hard enough? And they're going to want you to push forward in one way, or they're going to want you to react in one way. And it can be like rising to an occasion, like not being as true to yourself as you would want to be, kind of acting out of anger instead of acting out of, well, this is what's right for me. This is what I need. Like, this is my soul and myself. So the 10 of air is this completion of a thought process, but it's also the darkness before the dawn. It's the sense of almost being swept up in things, but also looking at how unfair and how, trying life is, and overthinking and sitting there and saying, well, I can get it the way that I want it. And divinity is really saying here, be patient, because the way that I am leading you forward is not the way that you expect. And it is a way that you need. It is something more that is coming to the table than you had thought before. And so here, there is this sense of needing to be patient, because the darkness before the dawn comes. But the end to the tough situation, the end to this strife comes if you don't get swept up in it, if you don't sit there and think, well, it's been long enough, or I can't believe this is happening type of thing. Because the 10 of air is, for me, it is the body, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's the body laying on the ground with 10 swords stabbed into them. It's overkill. It's too much. And nobody likes it when life is too much, when life is overkill. And there's a sense here of needing to stabilize, of needing to kind of come back into yourself, of needing to look at what it is that you want, but also look at what it is that you've been taught over this time of grief, over this time of doubts and of anger and of despair and of hardships. And it brings you to being a student of yourself. It says here, intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. So it's moving you to saying that you are much more intuitive to situations than you think you are. You're sensitive, you always have been here, Cancer. And if you ignore that sensitivity, if you ignore that kind of innate reaction from yourself about things that are going on, the sense of, oh, well, that's not really the truth, or, oh, that person, like, you have gut reactions. And if you ignore them, okay, it's your instinct coming forward. You have a powerful instinct. If you ignore it, you ignore a huge part of yourself. And here, it's like you're learning how to trust you again. You're learning the power that you need, the power that you have to move you forward, and the power that you need to take in gifts from divinity, to take in this greater understanding than what has been yours before. because there is a sense here of people wanting you to see your gifts as one thing, or people wanting you to be one thing, and you really needing to be you, which is not always going to be in alignment with what they say you should be. And so this is a time where your subconscious self is really speaking to you through the trials, through the tribulations, through the anger that you feel during this time. And I know that anger isn't anything that anybody likes to feel, but as a water sign energy, it's something that you can actively try to avoid. You can try to, you do though, you actively try to avoid the anger or the confrontation. And you can sit there and say, well, if it's just peaceful, like if it can just be harmonious, it can be okay. Like I can deal with it. I can grit my teeth and I can move through. And now is the time to say, what's right for me? You know, how do I want to move forward? Where is it that I want to be? Instead of what is it that I have to endure? It's like, what is it that is right for me? And what is it that I'm being shown time and time again? I'm being tested with to break a cycle, to move forward in a greater truth, to break these chains that have been around me for just way too long. And it comes a time where you start to see a gift from divinity that you never saw as a gift before. It's something that is coming your way. It can be a trial, it can be a tribulation, it can be something severely aggravating that's calling upon you to fight, that's calling upon you not to fight in a way that you kind of roll up your sleeves in fisticuffs. It's calling you to fight in a way that says, but this is me, and I'm not going to change me for anybody else. I don't want to, I don't need to, I can't. And that becomes a time where you start to see the gifts of divinity that you didn't think were gifts. Like they looked like crudely made cups. You know, it's kind of like something a child made or something, you know, very, very old. Like you're looking at it and you're like, oh, this isn't a gift. And then all of a sudden you realize that it is a treasure, that it is that like the water tastes sweeter from that cup, from that way of thinking, from that power than it does from any other. And then it moves you forward. It moves you forward in a way that makes you stand up taller, that takes the weight off your shoulders, that moves you from doubt into knowing. So let's see here. Let's go deeper. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. This one. And spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. Okay. And let's look at the energy that will be aiding you during this time. What is the energy that will be aiding Cancer during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that will be aiding Cancer during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic, these three. So we have here the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, time frame October 23rd to November 21st. This is an energy of somebody who walks between worlds. This is a very spiritual person. This is a very secretive person. So the energy that really suits you during this time is a fellow water sign energy. But no, because it's kind of stepping beyond that. It's a person who seeks. This is going to be a time where you're seeking a lot of answers and you're feeling great frustration, wanting to move forward. You're going to feel like you're almost blocked at every single turn. And it's old foes that come forward. And this is going to be somebody who walks a different path than the one that we're used to thinking is correct. So this is going to be a person that looks at things quite differently. And it's going to be something that you find very empowering. It's like, oh, I don't need to look at it this way. And it can be that you're, talking to somebody and they mention, a religion, or they mention a person, and you start listening to them, or you start, walking down that path, and you're like, oh, wow, like I never thought of this before. Or you're watching a movie, you're reading a book, and it's like, oh my gosh, like this, something opens up to you, and you're like, oh, I don't know why I have to research this, or I have to look this up, but you're going to find that you have to. And all of a sudden, you're looking at things so differently than you looked at them before. And it brings you to the lovers. It brings you to the Gemini energy that comes forward here. And this is time frame May 21st to June 20th, an energy of love and of this connection with Mercury, and this sitting there and seeing that there are word games, and there are deceits, and there is power, and there is knowledge, and there is passion, and there is sensuality, and there is a coming together of the beauty, of the poetry, of the beauty of sex and creation, but also the violence of it. Not in a, violent way. I'm not talking about that at all, but in the way that, there's penetration, and there's passion, and there's sweat, and there's all this that moves us forward in creation. And that's going to be something that you're really looking at. You're looking at the two sides of the world, and not in a nasty way, but in a way that is beautiful and sensual, and has you thinking more deeply of the connection of self and of purpose, and also the creation of not only the creation through sex, but the creation through the imagination and through the self, and how we have doubts and we have fears, and usually in the road that we're supposed to walk, and when we're walking the right path, we have this darkness wanting to pull us back into chaos. And it's that release into the coming into ourselves, into where it is that we're supposed to be, and the beauty that is supposed to be a part of us. And that's going to be very powerful for you. There's something about this creation forward, this power forward, this greater understanding than what you had realized before, this greater beauty, and the multifaceted layers to it. And then it brings you to the Princess of Pentacles. It brings you to this energy of being a student of the prosperity forward, and the different ways of embracing your goals and going after what it is that you want, and looking at what you desire, and seeing what is your truth. And that's going to be powerful for you. It's like, it's either prosperity isn't written just like this. It doesn't have to follow this exact pattern in order to bring wealth, or what you value as much as money, into your life. And you're going to start seeing that, and it's going to open up, a greater understanding, a greater world, a greater sense of power. And it leads you then to going deeper. And you have the Three of Cups, you have the Three of Swords, and you have the Ace of Swords. Interesting. The Five of Water, the Five of Winter, the Five of Swords, the Emperor, the King of Cups. So you're going from being a knight now to being a king, which is a beautiful progression. The world opens. The King of Pentacles, the King of Swords. So you have very strong, you have the Emperor, you have the square right here that is all kings. And you're definitely taking this gift of knowledge and of understanding. Kings, emperors, there's power here. It's very sacred masculine energy that you are coming into alignment with, which you feel more comfortable a lot of the times, Cancer, with sacred feminine energy. So there's an energy here of taking action, of going after what it is that you want, of power, and of fire, and of determination, and of focus, and of things almost in absolutes. And so here with the Three of Swords, as you look at what you love, as you look at the ways that you've been held back, but you also look and give respect to all the hardships and pains that have created you. The Three of Cups, for me, is looking at the people who didn't celebrate us in our lives that we're supposed to. The people who just couldn't be in our corner, and they were supposed to be in our corner. So here, the Three of Cups is looking at these people, and instead of letting those scars fester, those wounds stay open, it's looking at them and saying, I've given you enough power. I tried long enough. I can't do this anymore. You couldn't be there with me. You couldn't celebrate me the way that I needed you to. I loved you. You know, whether it was as a friend, whether it was as a child loves a parent, whether it, you know, however it is, whether it was as a lover, I loved you. I gave you power. I trusted you. And everything crumbled apart. I blame you. I also blame me. And I can't anymore. I can't drink of that cup of pain and hurt and disappointment anymore. I can't let your voice of negativity, of the scars that were, of the negativity that was spoken over you, and then you spoke over me, be my truth any longer. I need to move forward. And then with the Three of Swords, you really look at this. You really call it, you name it, you see it, you think about it, you mull it over, and you're giving it emotional connection, and you're giving it logical connection. And you're saying, I can't walk like this anymore. It can be sharing this pain with your spirit guides. It can be sharing it with a friend or with a professional. But it's releasing it. And it's saying, no more. No more. I name you. And in naming you, I take power over this situation. You have a face. You have a way of being. You have this, you go from being this abstract to being this pain that has tried to protect me, but also you've cut my wings. You've kept me from reaching my goals. And I can't do this anymore. Why are you here? And you're going to find that pain answers you. I don't want to trust. I don't want to trust because I can't be hurt like that again. I don't want to live the life that one parent might have inflicted onto the other, or that you saw people who were madly in love with each other. When they fell out of love, it could become just too much. So there's a wall. There's a wall around you now. And Cancer, you're not meant to live behind walls. Nobody is. It's time to embrace the beauty. It's time to embrace the harmony of you. It's time to open up the door and see the blessing that others see in you, that you're finding it so hard to see yourself. And this moves you to knowledge. This moves you to understanding. This moves you to taking this gift of divinity that moves you forward in a way that you hadn't expected, that cuts through the doubts and cuts through the fears, that has you, embracing the tiger, the white tiger right there. And I love tigers. They're powerful, they're beautiful, they're solitary. And that's what this gift is. It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's solitary. It is fiercely a weapon. And when you look at a tiger, they're fierce weapons, all right? And they're fierce defenders. And that's how you're moving forward in your power. There's something about, you can even see it here, the King of Wands holds a sword in his hands. It's like, this is my truth, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is how I move forward. And nothing and no one will hold me back, will deny me, and will keep me from being who it is that I need to be, from walking in the truth that divinity lines up for me. And it brings you to the Five of Swords. You're seeing how you have been tested, okay? How what you love has been held back from you, okay? Doubt and fear has kept it. You're going to see that as your subconscious brings things forward for you, you're going to see ways that you need to move forward, that you want to move forward, but you're also going to see how far you get, and you're going to really be aware of this, how far you get, and then it's just kind of like it's too much. And you find yourself giving up. It's not giving up. Yeah, it is giving up. It's like, I can't take one more thing. One more thing being on my plate is just too much. So it's kind of like just putting the laundry away becomes too much because it's one more thing. And you find yourself sitting there and thinking, I can't do this. But you're facing, divinity is having you face things that you thought, I didn't like this when I had to face it to begin with. I certainly don't like it now. And I don't know why I have to do it. And so with the Five of Swords, you're going to find yourself facing situations that are keeping you from your happily ever after, that are keeping you from moving forward in celebration, but also are making you a student of your prosperity, having you look at your wealth and at what you desire and saying, well, I don't know, I don't know exactly how facing this or why I'm going through this and how this is going to propel me in wealth, in prosperity, in bounty, in brilliance. But just know that it is. It's facing something that kind of makes your stomach turn, that, causes you anxiety, that can cause you to feel just overwhelmed. And as you face it, you start to see yourself now moving forward, moving towards the place that you need to be. And you might see that this prepared you way down the line from now, like years down the line. But the Five of winter, the Five of Swords, is having you face what you would rather not. And it brings you then to the Emperor, because it's kind of like, if I can face this, which I was terrified of, I now get to be the ruler of my life. I get to embrace my prosperity, my bounty, my truth. I'm claiming my throne. And this is a sense of sitting there and saying, I'm done with the bull. I'm done with the nonsense. I'm done with the doubt and the fear. I claim my throne. Because yes, I know all my flaws. And I might not think that I'm fit to rule anything. But nobody's fit to rule my life over me. I claim my truth. I guide myself to my divine understanding. And in my divine understanding. And it moves you to being a king. Honorable, devoted, mature, and warm-hearted. What other type of king do you want to be? And you know that the only person that you can rule is yourself. As the king of water, as the king of cups, you only rule you. You defend this rule too. And you're going to find that your heart gets tested at times. Tested over doubt, over fear, over seeing if what you've created is really what you want. But you're going to sit there and claim this throne. And there's a power to you as you do so. And then the world starts opening up to you. Which is funny, because in the main part of the reading, it almost feels like the world wants to close it. You want to close the door on it. It's like, it's too much. It's too nasty, too chaotic. I can't. And here, what's happening is the world is saying, oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Be patient. Be patient, because you're being forged. You're being that sword put in the fire for something greater. Hammering out the imperfections. Taking away the warps. And now you're going to see yourself moving towards a world that you didn't think could be yours. You thought it was denied to you because maybe you were too disabled. Maybe you were too, sensitive. Maybe you were too, you just were dreaming too big for your britches kind of thing. It couldn't be your world because of the negativity that was spoken over you, because of the anger of others. And now you're going to start to see, or because of mistakes that you made in the past. Oh, this couldn't possibly be for me. I messed up too many times. Oh no, the doors are opening. And you're going to see yourself kind of like peeking through and being like, this can be me. I can move forward this way. This can be how I get to live my life. And the world starts opening, and it's not this scary, terrifying thing. It's this beautiful thing that, yes, pushes you out of your comfort zone, but calls you towards something greater than you realized. And it moves you to the King of Coins, which is compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and gifted. You start to see yourself opening up here as you are a student of everything that you are, of everything that you want to be. Okay, as you are a student of you, you start to see your prosperity moving forward. You start to see your bounty coming in. You start to see yourself being guided, gaining a greater understanding, looking at things more openly, more honestly, more brilliantly for yourself. And it's like, yeah, this is mine. This is my truth. This is my prosperity. This is my power. This is what I desire. And then it leads you to being the King of Swords, knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, and unemotional. So it's going to be really funny, because it's as this gift comes in, it's like, this is my truth. This is where I need to be. The unemotional part, it might seem wrong for you, but it's in the public arena. If you always move forward, it's kind of like the people who say emotions have no place in business. If you move forward, always basing yourself off of emotions, always thinking emotionally with things, you're going to find that people take advantage of you, people can easily manipulate it, or you can just come across as being too emotional in situations. Here, you're stepping back. You're saying, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? How is it that I'm moving forward in fairness and bounty? This is why the King of Swords, for me, is the warrior king. He is the one who gets the job done. He's the one who cuts through doubts and fears. He's the one who says, this is where we need to go. This is how we need to move forward. And that's that. And people are going to be very surprised. And that's one of the gifts that you take that you're not expecting to take. You're not thinking that that's important to how you move forward or to where it is that you want to be. But it's that power. It's that truth. It's that determination that gets you. That gets the doors open, that gets you to walk into the world that you never expected to be a part of. During this Mercury retrograde, it's kind of stepping back because you're going to want to act on things very emotionally, very intensely. And it's like, ground yourself to the prosperity that you want. Think logically, think practically, and be slow, determined, and methodical, because you are going to see that if you are, you get what you want, more so than if you kind of fly off the handle. It's kind of like step back, be very methodical, be very intense, and don't fall into old patterns, because that's one of the ways that you're being tested during this time. It's like, are you going to break the chains of the past? And are you going to be able to embrace a future that seemed so out of reach before, or that has always seemed out of reach? So let's see. Oh, no, we're good there. Let's see what your spirit animals have to say. How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Cancer be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Okay, so we start here with the lion spirit. Be generous of spirit. It's not only being generous to everybody else, Cancer. Be generous of spirit to yourself. The lion spirit is sitting here and saying, there's bounty to come over you. There's beauty to come. Be generous with what you are expecting for yourself, like what you are taking in. Instead of sitting there and thinking, oh, I couldn't possibly. Sit there and say, yeah, why not? Yes, I can. Yes, this is me. It is more than I expected, but not more than I deserve. And then we have the groundhog spirit. It's time to let go. It's time to let go of the pains that have defined you for too long. It's time to let go of the negative thoughts, the negative words from others that keep you from moving forward in your truth, that keep you from really embracing you. And then we have the skunk spirit. Know your worth. Know your worth. Stop underselling yourself, because you're doing yourself a disservice. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the deer spirit. Bring a gentle touch. Walk gently. Walk kindly. Bring a gentle touch to all that you do, and you will see that it is noticed. It is felt. There's a power to your essence, to your being during this time that's gentle, that's peaceful, that's loving. And that's the energy of the soul's healing with the soul star chakra that comes around you. When you walk in that healing, when you walk in the awareness of that warmth that is a part of your soul, that vibrates out of you, you walk in your truth. And people feel it. Okay, people feel that healing around you. They gravitate towards you because of it. They can try and almost steal it away. But this is the power of where you need to be. This is the power of who it is that you are. And it brings a gentle touch to your life. And it brings a powerful touch, because you're going to think, and we've been taught, like, the heavier the touch, the more force things have, the better it is. It's like, no, the gentler it is right now. And the gentler it is for you, period. The gentler, the more connected, the more spiritually inclined, the more in tune with the emotions, the more beautiful it is for you, the more powerful it is for you. Your subconscious person message is the Hermit, Virgo spirit. Here, time frame is August 23rd to September 22nd. It's letting that light guide you forward. It's turning inward. It's saying, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? Where is it that I need to be? Not what everybody else demands of you. What is it that I am seeking for myself? And it's turning in, and it's opening up the doors in the world. And it brings you to your subconscious chakra message. And it's your inner child. It's your heart. This is a way, here with the heart chakra, when we have our inner child come forward, this is a way of healing a lot of the pains that are a part of us, a lot of the devastation that we've just accepted as part of life. And so here with the heart chakra, connecting with our inner child, it's just for a moment visualizing yourself, opening up your arms and saying, I love you. I'm here for you. I will always be here for you. As that inner child runs into your arms and just knows that they're safe. Because the world, it's too much at times. In Cancer, you feel things deeply. It's time to heal. It's time to connect. It's it's time to embrace. And it moves you then to your subconscious tarot message. This is the page of air, logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. It's being a student of your mind. It's being a student of the way that you want to move forward. It's looking at what it is that you love, what it is that you need. It's the mind and the heart coming together. Subconsciously, you're puzzling out so many of the riddles that come your way through the hardships, through the pains, through the disappointments of Mercury retrograde. And you're finding a truth that had been overlooked, a truth that had been denied. And it leads you then to go deeper into this subconscious message. And it leads you to the Two of Swords. It leads you to a new path opening up. It leads you to the two ways that you saw everything. Black and white, this way or that. White page, black print, it has to be like this. No. You're going to see the world opening up to you. Expression opening up through dance, through paint, through color, through being, through life. And you're going to see that you can walk more paths than you could possibly have imagined. And you're moving forward in a way that you never expected. And it's by facing these roadblocks that you'd come to time and time again. Three of Cups, Three of Swords, Five of Swords. This being tested and having to pull back to your own power. That has you seeing that you can walk that road. And that the world is meant to be so much greater than sometimes what we just accept. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we take this gift of knowledge, of truth, and as you become the king of your world, as you move forward with this confidence that is brilliant and is brazen and is just boldly you. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.